Welcome to Fool's Key Tarot. I'm Ben, and this is a daily reading for Monday, May 26th, 2025. Let's see what the cards have in store for us today. The Hermit, Major Arcana number 9. This could indicate a journey where wisdom is gained or just a time of seclusion or separation from society. Next, we have the Ace of Cups. This could be a new relationship, a new feeling, often a very strong feeling, like the overflowing cup. The feeling is spilling out and flowing over you, maybe in a surprising or uncontrollable manner. And finally, the Page of Cups, another Cups card, and this one having to do with inspiration and coincidences and connecting the dots, seeing one thing and understanding what it means in an entirely different context. The page is about beginnings and being new at things, and in this case with cups, it's just starting to put things together, to connect things with each other, to see how everything is sort of melded together, because cups is the suit of integration and combination. So altogether, we have an ace, which is the number 1, the beginning of the numbers, and then a page, who is the beginning of the court cards. And so, given that they're both cups and both sort of at the beginning of their sequences, I think that today is going to have a new feeling or relationship that will start. And if it's a relationship, there will be a strong feeling about the relationship. So that could be what the feeling is about. And it's going to be maybe feeble or in its very early stages, where you're not quite sure yet if it's going to last or what you really think about it. You have an initial gut reaction, but you're not sure how much that's going to have to do with what you really think about the situation. Are you reacting to the novelty, or are you reacting to the thing itself? Will be a question that you need to ask. Because with both of these cards just starting off and just beginning, you have to wonder what is going to change as this continues forward. Because whatever this new thing is, it has the potential to be a part of your life for a long time, but it is going to change over the course of that time, of course, and your feelings towards it are going to evolve. You are going to grow up and mature, and also the relationship or the thing itself that you're reacting to is probably going to change as well, because nothing is really permanent or fixed forever. And so your experience of this thing and your feelings towards it are going to evolve. And so one thing that you want to look out for immediately is ask yourself, whatever my initial reaction is, how do I see that changing over time? Is it going to go away or even reverse itself? Or even if it's more intense because it's raw and new, maybe that initial reaction is going to stay in place, just maybe transform a little bit or become a little bit less intense. Because usually right when something starts out is when that feeling might be strongest. And so I would expect a new thing to enter your life today that is going to elicit a feeling that might be strong at first, and then will either dissipate over time or possibly transform into something completely different. And I think the cards are asking you to think that through in advance. You don't have to be surprised when your feelings shift over time. If you consider early on what that trajectory might be, then you're going to be more prepared for it. The pages are often immature and don't have that long time horizon thought process. They're more living in the moment, especially the Page of Cups is all about just living right in the moment that you're in. And in that sense, they can serve as a warning that mindset can be helpful at certain times, but you don't want to find yourself always living in the moment and forgetting the past or the future. So I think the first thing the cards are telling you is to think about what this new thing might represent overall in your life, not focusing too much on what it means for you today or right now. Now, the Hermit card over here is obviously not a Cups card. It's a major arcana, so it doesn't have one of the four suits. So Cups are the strongest suit of this reading. And the way that the Hermit plays into this is that I think you might be on your own when this new thing enters your life. Now, it might be a relationship, but in that case, you're probably not going to be around your friends or family when you make this new connection. You'll probably be off somewhere by yourself. And even if you aren't physically alone, you might be feeling alone. Maybe that sense of being alone in a crowd where you have other people around you, but you're just not really connecting with them. That might be what gives the opening for this new connection or this new feeling to take place. So some amount of disconnection with the people that you normally spend time with is going to give the opening for this new thing to enter into your life. And if you aren't spending any time alone, or you feel too enmeshed in the people around you and in society, then the cards might be telling you that you need a little bit of a respite. You need to check in with yourself somewhat, either get to be alone physically, or just, even if you're around other people, retreat a little bit into your own mind and do a little bit of introspecting. And when you do, you're going to be more open and receptive to whatever this new thing is that is going to enter your life. So either seek this out if you don't have any of it, or if you are already going to be alone a little bit or feeling somewhat alone, then that is going to be the state of mind that this new thing will emerge from. And the good news is that because the Hermit has to do with introspection and understanding your own mind, what I was talking about before, about not just reacting in the moment to this new thing, not that you should ignore your initial reaction, but you should think about the longer term implications somewhat too, and how your feelings might evolve over time. The Hermit state of mind is a good state of mind to think about this from, because this is a card about not being distracted and not being pulled in a lot of different directions, and instead being able to focus on what you want to think about. So you're going to be equipped to think through this whole situation, but you have to actually do it. Just because you're alone and have time to introspect or think doesn't mean that you will be doing that introspection or that you'll be thinking about the right things. So you're going to have the space or the time that you need to think this through carefully instead of just running off with it immediately based on that initial gut reaction. But you've got to make sure you actually do that. So the cards want you to seek some amount of independence or time alone. That is going to make yourself open to some new relationship or feeling that is going to evolve over time. And the cards are wanting you to find the space required to give this thing your full attention and your full consideration up front, so that you have some expectations about the role it's going to play in your life going forward, rather than simply letting it play that role and then you being surprised and sort of along for the ride as it evolves and changes. The cards are asking you to think it through in advance, expect what might happen. That doesn't mean you're going to be right about what happens, but if you've thought it through, then you're going to be more prepared to deal with the changes as they arise. And you might even be able to direct things in the direction that you want them to go, rather than just letting the chips fall where they may with this new thing. So if you enjoyed this reading, then subscribe to see more. And if you'd like to learn about tarot cards or try some of my online guided readings, then head on over to foolskey.com where you can check that out. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.